Dostoevsky, that great Russian novelist, died in 1881 at the age of 60, wrote these words for every one of us here today, to everyone wherever you may be. He said, "We're not long on earth. We do many evil deeds and say many evil words. Let us therefore take advantage of the favourable moment of being together here to say a good word to each other." And that is what I'm doing, he said. While I stand here in this place, I take advantage of my moment. This address today will be rather different from my addresses at other times. It will be about me. And since you honour me by listening, it will be about you and about this place where we are at this moment. In a short time, we will leave this place. And this place and this time will be memories. And those too will fade, and eventually nothing will remain. You probably know, surely you know, the experience of returning to some place of your past. And when you arrive, the place is no longer there. Thomas Gray's elegy in the country churchyard sounded that theme that has resonated down the years. Perhaps in this neglected spot is laid some heart once pregnant with celestial fire, hands that the rod of empire might have swayed, or waked to ecstasy the living lyre. Or to the psalm that I read today, drawing a reality right into our faces. It says in the traditional version of the psalm, "The wind passes over it, and it is gone, and the place thereof shall know it no more." The existential writer Albert Camus, in his book The Rebel, wrote, "It is difficult to return to the place of one's early happiness. The young girls in the flower of their youth still laugh and chatter on the seashore. But he who watches them gradually loses his right to love them, just as those he loved lose their power to be loved." So here for a short time, we are in this place. And for a time, it is our special place. Because only in our fantasy can we be in two places at once. Here we are. You come here to this place. Once it was a very stark building, especially within it, without a personality, without a presence. But over the years, recent years, several of you have been part of the process of presenting this place as a place of real artistic and cultural significance. You've helped to give it a different voice, a different story. You've lifted it from being just a place of empty pews, as it were, a place of assembly, to a place that is identifiably sacred as soon as you walk in the door. Symbols and icons of art and religion, of culture, ancient and modern. And we breathe differently. You know this to be a good place. Just this week, one of the weekday tour guides of this place said to me, "I just love doing this." As if to say, yes, it is a good place. This place, 175 years on this spot this year, as a symbolic presence standing for something of significance in this city. And today you are here. You are the people. And so let me talk about the people. Some of you are here most Sundays, coming from nearby places like South Bank or Docklands or South Yarra, East Melbourne or Carlton. But others of you come from a larger distance, Bairnsdale, Warragul, Ballarat, Warrnambool. And of course some of you visit from very distant places, as today from England, other days from many places of Europe or Asia. All welcome. So there are also people, however, that I regard as one of our several congregations. They are the scattered ones in various countries of the world. Indeed, in 67 countries of the world. Visit us regularly to see what is happening at St Michael's in Melbourne. So here we are. We come, some of us come out of curiosity, some come searching for community. Some stand at a distance. Others, like the woman in the gospel story, simply want to touch the garment, as it were, to discover the strength and power, the support and courage they need to go on. The people are immensely important. Without the people, where would we be? I know that some people like to be individuals and standing apart, but we need, as we'll say next Sunday, we need the gathering people, because in the gathering there is strength. And so we come to the pulpit in this place. Everyone who comes here, the pulpit is, of course, of primary importance. In other traditions, the Mass becomes the central focus. But in our tradition, the pulpit and the preaching has stood at the centre of worship for several centuries, in fact. It highlights the power of a word to give fresh perspective to our lives, to open up new possibilities, to provide a different affirmation and acceptance through a word. And here in this place, we've tried to put the word in different forms as we've advocated the need for a new faith at this time. In your Bible, you'll read that Jesus walked up the hillside, gathered the people together, and he began to speak to them. And this is the teaching he gave. Blessed are those who know their need of God. The kingdom of heaven is theirs within them. Blessed are the sorrowing, for they shall be comforted. The pulpit is a place of such words being imparted and interpreted to the people. It is a place, the pulpit, a place of huge privilege for those who are given that privilege. And for those who listen, the pulpit can be life-enhancing, life-strengthening, and life-changing. But that is not all we are here in this place. We also emphasise our pastoral care. In a place like this, pastoral care is difficult because we have such inhibitors as our scattered geography from all over Victoria, in fact, and beyond. But for you, the people, if you are in strife, or if you are experiencing a difficulty, in hospital or grieving, I would like to see your church right at your side, supportive, reassuring. In the world of trauma psychology, the textbooks on trauma, the professional articles on trauma, all keep saying this very clearly. One of the key coping factors is the kind of support and strengthening and soothing you receive at your times of trauma and difficulty. One of the key factors in preventing stress disorders or our pathologies of various kinds is the quality of support you have at your elbow. Now, I know that within the churches, indeed within this place, and within theological teachings generally, pastoral care has often been vastly neglected, evaded, or lacking in know-how. How do you do it? It has been increasingly taken out of the hands of the clergy and taken up by the psychiatrists and the psychologists. But even there are gaps in their caring. A large part of pastoral care is done, of course, by teachers and by voluntary carers, and we'll be talking about them this year as well. We here at St Michael's realised the importance of pastoral care years ago. In fact, long before I came to St Michael's, I established a training program in pastoral care for clergy. But that was back in 1962. I've got to tell you, no clergy came. But their lay people did. Their voluntary people of their congregations came. And year after year, we had voluntary people from the congregations across the city and in the state attending those courses and going back to their congregations, doing significant work. Today at St Michael's, we have an outstanding group of people involved in this work. Lyndall O'Brien and Joy Arnott and many others across different regions of the city. And Dr. Deborah Campbell is wanting to develop our caring program even further. So I'll talk a little bit about the programs. Next Sunday, as you've heard, we will open our year's programs. And the booklet, you know, if I run my finger down the index of the front of the book or down the flip side of the book, there are at least 55 headings for our programs this year. And just the other day, I gave the go-ahead for a new program to begin, not listed yet in the book, I don't think, which will run in conjunction with La Trobe University. So in addition, we're supporting 3 very significant research projects being conducted at the Cairn Miller Institute, all part of St Michael's Church, connected. And so we want more people to participate in these programs. Participation, you see, is so important. All these programs listed back and front, right throughout, they just smoke in the air without participants, without participation. Why are we running these programs at all, you might say? Why not sit still and just be the place on the corner, you know, that you go to sometimes on Sundays? Why be using up all the energy, and indeed some people would say your money as well, your resources, on programs that people have for long since done without? Well, we're doing these programs for 3 good reasons, I think. First, we want people to be alert to ways to increase their well-being and the ways to build a better society. As I said last week as I waved around Dr. Gawanda's book, Better. Better people, better society, doing things better. That's the first reason. Second, we have people here amongst us who want to contribute their skills, their time, their intentions. People here with important contributions to make to many of our current concerns, like human rights, like the environment, good conversation, skills in iPad use, what is involved in living intelligently, enjoyably in the 2013. And the third reason, we want the church and this church to be a meaningful presence in this great city. We want to say, yes, we have something important to say. Yes, we have a valuable contribution to make to people's lives, no matter what their religious commitment, positive or none. Yes, we are involved in trying to do something better. Being better, building something better. That's important in the participation. And so that means making sure the wider community knows that we are here. And what's more, knows that we have something worthwhile happening here. You know that because you're here and you see it and you're part of it. But so many people don't know about us and don't know what is happening here. And that becomes my added P today, projection. You might wonder why we advertise as we do, why we put up those street signs as we've done, why we write our story wherever we can. Why? Because we want people to know there is something here that they could enjoy. And we want to have a real part in that concern of better ways for people of this city, to reduce the violence that's so much part of this city, to reduce the cynicism, to reduce our conflicts, and build again better people. We've got to project that. More awareness of what we've called the good, the tender, and the beautiful. Now you might say, what's all this got to do with religion? I think we're on the same page as Edward de Bono when he advocated a positive H+ religion. We've learnt well how to be negative. It has been all too easy to promulgate negative religion. And that readily joins with negative politics. And both of them join to insinuate the pessimism that can be part of our whole society, from professions right down to the people. Both of them can insinuate negative meaning to life. And by a twist, the negative then is promulgated as positive. And fear and hostility and criticism, negative criticism, become the dominant discourse. We can do better. A religion, who needs religion in these days of science and cynicism? Albert Einstein, back in 1941, wrote, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." But we have been heavily indoctrinated to say it has to be one or the other. Our new faith, advocacy, says let us open up rational conversations between religion and the various domains of science. And let us encourage conversations about a positive religion that helps people be more tolerant, better human beings, more generous, more affirming human beings. Frequently, perhaps, you might wonder, what are we doing? What am I doing? What are the powerful influences in my life? And of course, sooner or later you'll say, well, of course, the most powerful influence was probably my parents, for good or ill. The powerful people, who were they in the past? Are they just memories? Is it our mood? Is that the most powerful influence? Somewhere in your makeup? Sometimes we say, I'm in the power of something and I don't know how to control it and I don't know how to understand it. Powerful influences. Sometimes those powerful influences are positive fantasies about the future. But too often they can become negative fantasies, negative, malignant influences, dating from some bad experience, bad decision that we won't give up. And the task for everyone is to develop the good self. I'll be talking about it in my lecture. The fully functioning self, the balanced, autonomous self. It does mean getting control of your inner malignant thoughts, those toxic relationships, the negativity and neuroticism of a self driven by failure in the past and flashes of undefined or unconscious fear about the future. Where is the power I need to live my life well? The power to live with the difficulties that have been loaded upon me. The power to be serene in the face of severe stress. the power to be to do what needs to be done, the power to think good thoughts, and the power to say that good word. So, if you followed me, I've put before you 8 P's, and they are listed in our end-of-year programs from last year. 8 P's are listed there. And as I wrote this address today, and as I thought through it, I thought, I have omitted the 9th P. And so we need that 9th P. So lest you are now turning your mind over and saying, 8? Where are the 8 P's? He said, I shall now rename them quite quickly. And bear in mind, each one is about what we are doing here in St. Michael's and what you are doing here in this place. The first P, the place, the people. You are the people. You are engaged right now with the pulpit. We are part of that network of pastoral care. And we're being encouraged to join the programs, participation, and then that projection to our own people, projection to the city, projection to the countryside, projection to the world. That's not too grandiose because that's what we in fact are doing. And in that we're pointing to a practical, positive religion. That was number 8. So now for number 9. Let there be passion in our being here. Because it's so easy to be flat and depressed and withdrawn. Let there be passion. Passion in our comings and in our goings. Not negative passion of discontent and disagreement and distrust. Surely we can filter those out. And filter in the positive passions of friendliness, of goodwill, of exuberant intentions. Positive passion of being part of the best moods, of enjoyment, of enlargement, and of mutual enhancement. Dr. George Valiant, professor of psychiatry at Harvard, I've mentioned him many times, in his book, Spiritual Evolution, devoted his chapter 2 to the topic, the prose and the passion. We too often forget that good religion positively endorses good prose and good passion. And Dr. Valiant illustrates this by reminding us of one of the 7 blessings of the traditional Jewish wedding. But this blessing could be said by all of us every day. Here it is. Blessed art thou, O Lord, who has created joy and gladness, mirth and exultation, pleasure and delight, love, peace and fellowship. Those words. Let the energy of faith and passion flow through those words. And feel the difference. Feel the difference it will make to your life. The 9th P, don't forget it. Positive passion. Would you please stand? I thank you. We gather now to receive the communion. In this sacrament, we are reminded that we, the people, are reaching out beyond ourselves to that good presence by which we might be enlarged and enriched in body, mind, and soul. As you receive the bread and take the wine, you're part of the sacrament of the ages. We will now sing the communion hymn.